everyone, my name is Heather and I'm back with another process video for you today. So a few videos back I was talking about a 6x6 paper sheet that had a bunch of 1-inch squares on it, and you can kind of see the other sheet there on the left hand side of the screen, and how I thought it would be fun to maybe cut each one of those apart and use them on a layout. And so that is what I'm doing here. So I've already gone ahead and cut out each one of these squares, and I've inked all of the edges. I debated about inking the edges, but because some of them are white, I decided to go ahead and do that just to help them stand out just a little bit more. But I didn't videotape that part because I thought that could get a little bit boring for you guys. And they're not all perfectly square. When cutting strips like that, it is kind of hard to line it up to make sure they're perfectly square. So, but I'm not too worried about it because I'm not making it into really a grid. I'm just kind of, as you can see, placing them all over the place. And I'm not worried if they're lining up with the photos. I'm not worried if there is one more in one cluster than there is on the other side. The only thing I'm really trying to make sure is that there's none of the same colors next to each other. And here I'm just taking a picture with my phone because I was going to start gluing them down now, and I really liked how they looked, so I took the picture with my phone in case something were to have happened and things would have gotten messed up, though I could refer back to my phone. But I ended up not needing to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing everything down, and pretty much they go exactly where I have them now. I am using my Tombow dot runner adhesive for this. I like this adhesive for this type of thing because if I get it in the wrong spot or it goes on a little bit crooked, it's a little bit easier to move. It is permanent adhesive, but it's removable for a while. So you can just see me here just gluing all the pieces down in kind of little random areas. So the top photo, I ended up cutting it down. I believe it's a 4x4, and then the other two photos I believe I cut to 3x3. I felt like having them on the even inch would work better for putting them in with these other 1-inch papers. So I do have to end up having to trim up that other photo, the third photo of my daughter with her sucker, because it was a little bit crooked, but that's okay. I just trimmed slightly a little hair off of it. So I'm just gluing these ones down, and like I said, I'm not real worried about the evenness. I am keeping the rows of the 1-inch papers pretty much together, but if you can see, for example, that red square that is between the top photo and the bottom photo on the left hand side there, it goes past both of those photos. That doesn't bother me. I actually like the way that looks. That way it doesn't have to have that perfect feel to it. So I had a lot of fun making this layout. It's a great way to use these 6x6 pattern papers if you have some of these with these little squares on it. It's also a great thing if you have a bunch of scraps. You could either punch them out to one. If you punched them out, they'd be definitely the same size. I don't have a 1-inch punch. Actually, maybe I do. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter. But for scraps, this would be a wonderful, great layout to do with scraps. You could fill up the whole background with them. Oh, that way, actually, that sounds kind of fun too. Getting all kinds of ideas while I'm making these videos. It's kind of fun. So I went ahead and I have most of the squares done. I just have to work in the top right-hand corner and the top left-hand corner. And again, as you can see, I'm using the I'm going to stop using this T-square ruler here in a minute. For some reason, even when I use my ruler, I still seem to get them on there crooked. So I think it's about here that I'm like, oh, why am I even bothering with that ruler? I do love my T-square ruler, and I will always use it. But sometimes when it comes to like grid type layouts that are somewhat like this, I'm not very good at it. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish up gluing all these down. So the one thing I don't like about this layout is that, and I actually kind of fix it, but you won't see it, unfortunately, in this video. As you can see on this layout here, from the left-hand side of the page, it's like the edge of the page and then the boxes start. But when you get to the right-hand side of the page, there's like about a 1-inch gap between the boxes and the edge of the layout. And that ends up causing me a little bit of, it bothers me quite a bit. And in the end, after I stop recording and done taking the pictures and everything, I just look at it again and I decide that it just needs another square. So right there on the very right hand side next to that white box with the castle, I do add another red square. And I think I had to cut it out of that sheet, the extra sheet, since I used all the other ones. But it gives it a little something, so it turns out okay. And I did enjoy the way this layout turned out and the process of it. It was fun doing it this way because this was something I don't usually do, and so it was very different. I don't add very many embellishments other than enamel dots and a couple word stickers around because it's so busy, and each one of those little squares has something different in it, and quite a few of them have sayings, so I didn't feel like it really needed a whole lot more. So I'm using my black, these are just black foam thickers, and I'm using my alignment tool, but I am going to have to adjust it once they're down on the layout. And I liked the word suckers right there underneath. I thought it really filled in the gap between the two 1-inch boxes that were there on the layout. And here you can see because these are foam thickers, they bend really easily. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix all those so they're just a little bit straighter. And I'm putting that down, and the title of this page is going to be Mickey Suckers. So when I was putting these letters on here, I did keep in mind the whole time that I needed the word Mickey, and I wasn't exactly sure where I was going to put it though. I was thinking maybe, if anything, maybe little square alphabet stickers above the word. So I'm just going to put that back. Sorry, I'm fussing around with that. And now I'm looking for tinier letters to make the word Mickey, and I thought maybe I could use these Doodlebug ones, but I think I didn't have an E, which was kind of a bummer. So then I saw these ones. These are very old fancy pants. I believe they're fancy pants. Don't quote me on that, but fancy pants for a while there came out with these letter sticker sheets, and they were like full of all different colors, and I think these are just the black ones. So on that photo above the word suckers, I'm just putting the word Mickey. So the title's pretty much just going to be Mickey Suckers. And I really like these photos. These are just fun, playful photos. We like to get the Mickey Suckers. They're just fun. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish putting that title down. And you really can't see it much. I don't know how well you can see it on the photo, the word Mickey, but you can see it in person. And if nothing else, it says suckers, and that's what they are. So it doesn't really bother me. Excuse me. So here I am. I'm just checking the stickers to see if there is anything that I can add to this layout, and I decide that I like some of these phrase stickers, and they fit really well in next to the squares. So I'm going to find 3 stickers. Well, one of them, I'm going to cut down this one. This one is a sticker with just a bunch of other words on it, kind of like stacked over each other, and they go perfectly not stacked together. It's not like a phrase where it's all one thing. I hope you know what I mean. Anyway, so I just cut out a couple of the words that I wanted from that sticker, and right now I have added one to the top right, bottom or middle left, and middle right, and I'm going to find another one to go on the page in a little while here. So I'm just looking around again. Because the background is so busy, and I basically feel like those squares are my embellishments, so I don't need to add much more. But one thing I did feel like it needed, and as you can tell, I'm still on this kick of, it felt like it needed to be mounted. The whole layout needed to be mounted on, so it would have a nice border around it. So I liked that striped pattern paper, but I wanted it to have another kind of like element to it. So I'm actually going to take it and I'm going to mount it on the red, and then I'm going to mount it on that striped pattern paper. And I really like the way it looks. It's kind of like a double border, and I probably could have cut out the middle of those pattern papers to use, but I'm not going to worry about it. There will be more reds. I have more reds if I need them, and there's more pattern paper out there, so I'm really not worried about it. And I think after this layout, I have one more Disney layout to do with this collection, and then I am going to be done with with the Disney collection. I do have some videos that will be coming up of Disney layouts not using a Disney collection, if that makes any sense. I love the Disney collections, and I love the Mickey elements and all that, but well, goodness sakes, excuse me. Sorry about that. I had to take a moment and get my voice back on track. So, what I was saying is I don't feel like you have to use a Mickey collection for Disney pages, or Disney collection, either way. I think you can do a lot of great pages with anything you want, actually. So I am just mounting down the layout onto this red sheet, and this red was part of the solids pack. It did not come with the collection, but you could order it to go, and it's designed to coordinate with this collection. And so I'm just trying to get that straight on there. I did cut it a little bit off on one of the sides, but you can't really tell in the end, so I'm not going to worry about it. And I didn't have much room to cut down much more, so I just left it as it is. But this way it leaves a really nice thin red border around the layout itself, and then it'll have that nice striped background for another border, and I really like the way that looks. So as you can tell here, you can see, well, we'll wait till we flip the layout back over. There you go. So I really like how this looks, but again, because I cut some of the edges off, you can see where on the right hand side there's nothing in between those 3 squares and the right hand side of the layout. So that is where I do fit in a square later on after I am done recording. So I did cut off of this other 6x6 sheet. It had a border that said Magical Fun multiple times in different colors. So I just cut that out, as I felt like it needed something to fill in the space between the R and the S, and that worked perfectly. So I am going to add some enamel dots around, and that is basically, I believe, the only thing that I add is enamel dots. I think I add 5 clusters of them in the end instead of just 3 clusters, because where the 3 are right now, it just didn't feel like it worked very well, and with only 4, I felt a little thrown off. It looked a little too not right to me right here. So I am going to add in another cluster. And in the very final video, you'll see where the clusters of the enamel dots end up all together. So I hope you liked this video. Give it a try. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. Bye.